Why is it so hard to forget someone who has hurt us? Is it the heart, the mind, or something even deeper that keeps us tied to the past? Perhaps you've tried to move on, filling the emptiness with new experiences and convincing yourself that it no longer matters. And yet somehow that memory lingers like a persistent shadow that refuses to fade. Have you ever wondered why this happens? Today, we are going to explore an answer that goes beyond the superficial, diving deep into the hidden corners of our mind and soul to truly understand why certain people and experiences remain etched into us despite our strongest efforts to let them go. One of the greatest minds in psychology, Carl Jung, dedicated his life to deciphering the mysteries of the unconscious. His work left us with profound insights into why we cling to certain relationships and why emotional wounds can feel impossible to heal. This video is not just for those who seek to forget, but for those who wish to heal, to better understand themselves and to reclaim control over their emotions. Imagine this. You're lying in bed, the lights are off, and silence surrounds you, yet your mind refuses to rest. The memories of that relationship, of the laughter, the pain, and the words left unsaid, come rushing back as if everything had just happened yesterday. You find yourself wondering, why couldn't things have been different? What could I have done to avoid the pain? Why did I allow someone to have so much power over me? This cycle of thoughts is not a coincidence. It is a reflection of something deeper within you, something unresolved that is asking to be understood. Many people have gone through relationships that left deep emotional scars, and despite what society tells us, time alone does not heal what we carry inside. A wound left unattended does not simply vanish. It lingers beneath the surface, shaping our emotions and decisions in ways we may not even realize. Jung's teachings remind us of a crucial truth. What we do not process consciously remains in our unconscious. It does not disappear. Instead, it hides in what Jung called the shadow, influencing our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors from beneath the surface. The unconscious mind does not forget. Everything we have not faced or fully processed gets stored in this vast and hidden space within our psyche. And it doesn't just stay there. It finds ways to manifest in our daily lives, often without us realizing it. This is why even when you consciously want to forget that person, something inside you resists. The emotional connection, the shared experiences, and even the pain itself become echoes that continue to reverberate deep within you. At the core of Jungian psychology is a concept that is key to understanding why we struggle to let go: the shadow self. The shadow is the part of our unconscious that holds all the experiences, emotions, and desires that we have repressed or ignored. It is made up of everything we find too painful, too uncomfortable, or too difficult to face directly. And when we go through a painful relationship, these emotions often get buried in our shadow rather than fully processed. But the shadow does not stay silent. Instead, it influences us in subtle but powerful ways through recurring memories, intrusive thoughts, and even patterns of behavior that keep us stuck in cycles of pain. This is why some people find themselves drawn to similar toxic relationships over and over again. It is not mere coincidence. It is the unconscious mind recreating past wounds, seeking resolution and pushing us toward situations that mirror what we have not yet healed. Jung suggested that what we reject in ourselves often gets projected onto those around us. In other words, when we feel deeply hurt by someone, it is not always just about what they did. More often than not, the real pain stems from what they revealed about us. Imagine that the person who hurt you represented something you fear within yourself. Perhaps their actions triggered your deep-seated fear of abandonment, exposing a desperate need for companionship that you have long refused to recognize. The shadow acts like a mirror, reflecting back to us the aspects of our psyche that we have buried. When someone unknowingly triggers this reflection, the intensity can be overwhelming. This is why letting go becomes so difficult. The suffering is not solely tied to the other person. It is intricately linked to what they have unearthed within us. So I ask you, what do you think that relationship revealed about you? What part of yourself have you yet to accept? Reflecting on these questions is not easy, but it is the first essential step toward true healing. Jung famously stated that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. This means that as long as we avoid confronting the emotions and wounds that emerge from our relationships, we will remain trapped in the same repetitive cycles. But there is hope, because once we bring our shadows into the light, not only can we release the pain, but we can also learn from it. Why do we seem to repeat the same stories in our relationships, especially the painful ones? Jung provides us with a fascinating answer. Our psyche is shaped by archetypes, the universal patterns that reside within the collective unconscious. In harmful relationships, certain archetypes tend to emerge in predictable ways. One of the most common is the savior, a person who feels an overwhelming need to rescue or fix others. On the other side of this dynamic, we find the victim, someone who believes that their well-being is dependent on others. This archetype naturally attracts the savior, leading to a relationship built on mutual dependency. Then, lurking in the shadows, there is the villain, a figure who arises when unhealed wounds manifest as aggression, control, or manipulation. This destructive loop is more common than we realize, but the real question is, why do we fall into these patterns time and time again? Jung explained that we are unconsciously drawn to people who reflect our deepest wounds. If you experience rejection during childhood, you might find yourself attracted to emotionally distant individuals. This is not a coincidence. Rather, it is as if your psyche is trying to recreate the scenario in which the original wound occurred, hoping to resolve it. But instead of finding comfort, we fall into an endless cycle of rejection and despair. The key to breaking these patterns lies in making the unconscious conscious. Jung famously said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." This means that if we do not bring awareness to the forces shaping our relationships, we will continue to repeat the same painful patterns, believing them to be inevitable rather than choices we can change. One of the most powerful ways to free ourselves is by identifying the archetypes that influence our relationships. Are you playing the role of the savior? Or perhaps you see yourself as the victim? By bringing these patterns into the light, you begin the journey of breaking the cycle. Forgiveness is not about time. It is about internal transformation. We often believe that simply waiting will make pain fade away, but Jung teaches us that true healing requires us to confront our shadow, the the hidden part of our psyche that holds the emotions and wounds we try to avoid. How do we face it? How do we truly heal from a painful relationship? The first step is to recognize the emotions that this person still triggers in you. When you think about them, what do you feel? Instead of suppressing these feelings, allow yourself to fully acknowledge them. A powerful exercise is to visualize the person standing in front of you, not as an enemy, but as a mirror. Ask yourself, what is this relationship revealing about me? This may feel uncomfortable, but it is also deeply transformative. Jung believed that every painful experience holds the potential to teach us something essential about ourselves. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" shift your perspective and ask, "What can I learn from this?" Reframing pain as a lesson empowers you. It shifts you from being a victim of your circumstances to becoming the creator of your own healing. In the end, to forget is not to erase, but to reconnect with yourself in a way that makes the past lose its power over you. Jung described this process as individuation, the journey toward emotional awareness and the integration of all aspects of our psyche. It is a path of self-discovery that requires us to embrace both our light and our shadow. By doing so, we cultivate a deeper connection with ourself, that complete and authentic version of who we truly are beneath the layers of conditioning and fear. Individuation demands commitment and courage. It is not an instant transformation, but a gradual unfolding. You can begin by carving out time for self-reflection and nurturing the aspects of your life that you may have neglected. These practices do more than just provide temporary relief. They initiate a profound healing process. In doing so, you come to a life-changing realization. Peace does not come from external validation or circumstances. It emerges from within. As Jung wisely stated, "He who looks outside dreams, but he who looks inside awakens." This is your moment of awakening. By turning inward, you rediscover yourself. You reconnect with an inner strength that has always been there, waiting to be acknowledged. So I ask you, what are you willing to do to embark on this journey toward your true self? Because forgetting is not an end. It is a beginning. It marks the start of a path toward a fuller, more authentic life, one in which you take center stage, not the wounds of the past. To rewrite the past does not mean changing what happened. It means transforming how we interpret it. You are not your past. You have the power to reshape your story, to extract wisdom from your struggles, and to reclaim your personal narrative. When you choose to reinterpret your past through a lens of strength rather than victimhood, you take back control. You become the architect of your own transformation. Think of your past as if it were a book. You have been rereading the same painful chapter, but that chapter is not the entirety of your story. Now it is time to take the pen into your own hands and continue writing from a new perspective. Instead of focusing on what you lost, you can shift your attention to what you learned. One of the most transformative exercises for this process is visualization. Close your eyes and picture that person as a fading image, gradually dissolving like a cloud into the vast sky. Now, in the empty space that remains, plant a seed that symbolizes your future. Watch as that seed takes root and begins to sprout, transforming into a strong, vibrant tree. This act of rewriting your personal narrative does not mean diminishing the pain you have endured. It means redefining its significance. When you reframe your past in this way, its weight begins to lessen. That experience no longer remains an open wound, but instead becomes a scar one that tells a story of resilience. To forget, then, is not to erase what happened, but to release the emotional burden attached to it. It is allowing the past to rest where it belongs, as a chapter in your journey that helps shape who you are today. What truly matters is how you choose to remember, and, most importantly, how you decide to move on. Are you ready to close that chapter and begin writing a narrative that is freer, more empowering, and truly your own? Forgetting someone who has hurt us is not merely a matter of time. It is a journey of deep self-understanding and healing. As we have explored, the path to releasing that weight begins the moment we dare to look inward, to confront our shadows, to reinterpret our past, and to construct a narrative that liberates us. It is about transforming our pain into a pillar of strength. Now, I invite you to reflect. What part of your own shadow do you recognize in that relationship that still wounds you? What unprocessed emotions or recurring patterns is it revealing to you? Take a moment to not only recognize what has happened, but also to reflect on what you can learn from it. Your story could serve as a beacon of hope for someone else who is going through something similar. Never underestimate the impact that your words and reflections can have on others. Remember, we are all walking this path of self-discovery and healing together. You will find the key to letting go. You will realize that within you lies an infinite power, the power to heal, to rise, and to emerge stronger than before. Healing is not about forgetting. It is about transforming. It is about reshaping your pain into wisdom and using it as fuel for your personal evolution. Forgetting is not the end. Rather, it is the beginning of a new path, a journey of transformation that leads to clarity, growth, and an unshakable sense of inner peace. If these words have resonated with you, I encourage you to take action today. Don't let this be just another fleeting moment of reflection. Make it the beginning of something greater. Take a few minutes to write down your thoughts, visualize the life you want to create, and start laying the foundation for a future filled with endless possibilities. Every great transformation begins with a single step, and that step starts within you. If this video has brought you any value, don't forget to like it, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who might need to hear these words today. Together, we can create a community where personal growth, emotional healing, and self-discovery take center stage. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Until then, keep growing, keep discovering, and never stop embracing the extraordinary power that lies within you.